Well, hello, I'm Doug Apple, back with another special interview for you today, and we're going to take you live, at least live as we record this interview, to Front Royal, Virginia, where the 2025 Homesteaders of America Conference is going on, and we have Mr. Mike Sharman of Share Healthcare standing by. And Mike, we're going to have you talk to some folks there at the Homesteaders Conference. But first of all, why are you there, and why is this something that's important?
Well, I'm here with Share Healthcare, and as you know, Doug, Share Healthcare has three major platforms: medical freedom, financial freedom, and religious freedom. So freedom is the foundation. And the Homesteaders of America promotes freedom in all sorts of different ways. Basically just helping the families unplug from everything that's industrialized and mechanized and a lot of the government intervention things, and just tries to let them do what families have wanted to do forever, just try to live their own lives and raise their children. So that's why I'm here. And it's friends of ours who had founded it a long time ago, and many of the people here we know and are friends. So it's kind of a big reunion. There's about 5,000 people here, probably, 200-300 vendors. But it's just a great time, and you're seeing families of all types and people of all ages. You know, you'll see people in their 80s, and you'll see people 18 months old. It's just a good time, and they're from all over the nation. You know, it's here in Front Royal, but we have people from Washington State, Oregon, California, Arizona, Texas, just from all over.
So it's called the Homesteaders of America Conference. What exactly is a homesteader?
Right, and for that answer, I'm going to try to grab Daniel Salatin, who literally grew up in the homesteading movement. Let me see if I can grab him. Doug, this is Daniel Salatin. You were asking, Doug, what is a homesteader and what's that mean? And I mentioned to you that Daniel literally grew up in the homesteading movement, but maybe even a better way of saying it is the homesteading movement grew up around Daniel. So Daniel, explain what I just said.
Hi, Doug. Yeah. So, no, I grew up on a farm and grew up in agriculture and everything. But at the same time, watched this homestead tsunami just take shape and come around us. And it's just a wonderful community of people who are wanting to take charge of their own food, take charge of their own destiny, be a little more self-reliant, not so much self-sufficient, because that's just, ridiculous. You can't be 100% self-sufficient. But the idea of more self-reliant, and so not only has it started out with more of a how-to, why does this conference exist? It started out as a how-to, like how do you can, how do you butcher, how do you raise chickens, how do you, hatch chicks, how do you make sourdough? And now it's like a, cultural thought process and even
movement,
and even political movement that is engaged in this. And so we come together as just like, the Republican National Convention would, but we come together to be in community, to be in group, and to just share ideas and to be encouraged, because there's so many good ideas. I think what's really exciting about this organization, just this movement in general, is the people's can-do attitude. They're not reliant on some handout. They're not reliant on someone else. They're reliant on what can I do? How can I change my situation? How can I fix what I've got going on? And how can I change my future? And that's the way that you actually can build lasting change and lasting movement in a society or in a community, by saying, hey, I'm going to fix this myself. I'm going to run for office. I'm going to better my land. I'm going to feed my kids better food. I'm going to not be reliant on the grocery store, whatever. That is what breeds this thing. And so that's what this whole movement idea, it started, again, is just how do you raise chickens? How do you butcher a hog? And now it's a complete movement of everything all together.
So, Daniel, I had mentioned that you grew up in the homesteading movement, but the homesteading movement grew up around you. And I meant that literally because, I think when my son was 12, and my son and you are about the same age now. How old are you now, Daniel?
I'm 44.
Yeah, exactly the same age as my son.
Right.
So I think when he was 12, my son Corey had asked for a book, Salad Bar Beef, which was written by Daniel's dad, Joel Salatin.
Right.
And if ever there's a grandfather of the homesteading movement, it's Joel Salatin. So tell us a little about how that was growing up with that.
Okay, sure. No, I mean, for me, yes, Joel Salatin is my dad. For me, it's like, dad is still dad. He's not special to me in the fact that he's my dad. But no,
even though he speaks all over the nation now.
Right, exactly. But no, I'm very honored and humbled by the shoulders I stand on, and I'm grateful for it. But no, that's been my process. We have, he's written books like Homestead Tsunami, You Can Farm, Fields of Farmers, just different books like that, just encouraging people that you can do this. Like, this is something you can do right now. And watching that grow from, again, people coming to our farm wanting to just learn how to butcher chickens to now, like, how do I actually live like this? How do I get out of the city? How do I decouple myself from my reliance on so many things, whether it be healthcare or the grocery stores or the school systems, whatever it is, they're decoupling themselves from that. And because of that, they're finding fulfillment, they're finding freedom, they're finding happiness, and true joy and peace in their life, which is what I've been able to experience, that growth. Again, it has really been a tsunami.
Yeah, and you have a farm, Polyface Farm, Polyface.
Yes, sir.
And that was a farm you all grew up with. And as I recall, your dad was having some serious challenges with the government authorities way back when, and you didn't grow up with people. I mean, right now, you have a number of conferences at your farm. You always have interns. I mean, you are a reality show all in itself, right?
Sometimes it feels like that. Yeah, a little bit of a circus. Yeah.
So what sort of growth? I mean, you're talking about the tsunami that is homesteading, but you literally lived it.
Right.
So it grew from just your dad raising some animals for y'all and maybe to sell some.
Right.
And now it's massive, and he is the tutor. But as I understand it, you're basically running the business there now, right? You're running the farm and the schools and things like that.
For sure. No, I'm definitely the day-to-day operations manager. No, in growing up that way, it really has been a difference of just like it is kind of, you pinch yourself sometimes, like, how did I get here? Not to me personally, but also just how did we get here? Like, again, I remember going to Virginia conferences or other conferences, the regional, and, it'd be 50 people, 100 people, and then you're like, man, we're doing great. This is amazing. And it was the beginning of that movement. And now, you've got an event like this that's 5,000 and others that are 6,000 and 7,000, huge conferences. Because it is just people waking up and saying, I don't want to live like this anymore. And so, trying to touch on a lot of the points of your question there, but just the idea of how it kind of seemed, for me, it didn't seem special because I grew up in it, right? And I feel blessed, but it wasn't like this, something I want to do because it was my normal.
Right.
But as I grew up and looked around and realized, wow, just like one of my other dad's title books is Folks, This Ain't Normal. The way I grew up was not normal for most people, and realizing how special it was. But at the same time, being able to share that with people and saying, yes, you can do this. You can experience some of this. You can get to a place in your life where you can do something with real meaning and purpose and have value. And maybe you are doing that already, but you can do it in a more real way, or you can do it in a different way. And so being able to have that expand is really an opportunity it's just been a wonderful ride and a blessed opportunity.
And we talked about your dad being a speaker, but you speak almost as often, if not as much.
I don't speak nearly as much as he does, but thank you. That's very gracious. I do speak some. Today I talked about building ponds and just how to build a small pond on your farm or homestead, why you would want to do that. Everything from habitat diversification to water retention, of course, livestock watering, taking care of animals that way. And then tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about generational transfer of what does it look like? We're getting, my dad is getting older. I'm middle-aged. I have, adult kids. What does that look like? How does that passion transfer of land stewardship get transferred from one generation to the next? And how does that look away? And that you can all still sit down to Thanksgiving dinner and enjoy each other.
And I know you speak around the nation because I've seen the announcements, and I know some of the times some of our Share Healthcare reps have gone where you are.
Right.
So
I do.
If folks are wanting to get a hold of you or just look at some of your products, because you have a pretty long product line for Polyface Farms, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. The easiest way is just polyfacefarm.com. That you can check our speaker schedule. You can see where we're going to be next. You can see on-farm events if you want to come and do some of the events on the farm. We're right down there in Swope, Virginia, so we're right down the valley, about 10 miles off of 81, so super easy to get to. Well, once you get that far.
Easy is relative in Virginia terms.
Yeah, they're not straight roads. But anyway, you can start there. There's obviously product there as well, meat and poultry and things. But yeah, polyfacefarm.com is the gateway to whatever you need to do.
All right. Well, thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm up here in Front Royal, Virginia at Homesteaders of America. It's a great event, about 5,000 people attending. And I'm here with Carson with Redmond. Carson, how many vendors? Do you know how many vendors we have here?
I think there's over 200. I'm pretty sure. We're number 154, and so I think that it goes higher than that.
Go on, yeah. And all these vendors are, well, they're freedom-oriented. And Doug, you know that I'm here with Share Healthcare, and Share Healthcare is, our foundations are freedom, medical freedom, financial freedom, and religious freedom. And everybody's here in one type of freedom or another. Some are health freedom, some are freedom from pharmaceuticals, some are freedom from food freedom, that they're helping people grow their own stuff. And Carson with Redmond, how would you characterize what you all are doing and how you, your company and what you are doing here?
So we are a sea salt mine out of Utah, which I think is really cool because most of our unrefined sea salt is not from America. So the cool thing is we're an American company that has American workers that get paid American wages, and so we help people that way. And then also because we're unrefined sea salt, we help people with their health a lot.
Yeah, now, Doug, I don't think you've talked to many people who work in the salt mines for a living and brag about it. How about that?
No.
Have you ever heard of that before, Doug?
I've heard of, going down to the old salt mine.
Yeah. Well, this is just a little bit high tech because, Carson, you do so many different products, don't you?
Yeah, so we vary from products like table salt all the way to rocks, salt for hunting, like a trophy rock is what we call it, to agriculture salt. We're in all different varieties. All comes from our mine there in Utah.
And I was just talking to a woman earlier today that was saying that she uses your toothpaste.
Yes.
And she says with your toothpaste, she's had better dental checkups than she ever has in her entire life.
Yeah, so we have a clay-based toothpaste and then a newer one that has hydroxyapatite with some clay too. So clean toothpaste, you don't find those very often. It's hard to find.
So using freedom as a theme, what sort of freedoms do you think that your products help people with?
I'd say the main one is we'll help you with health, right? You'll be able to be free from ailments, things like that. When you have a healthy body, it'll make you have a healthy mind. It'll help you to be able to do and live your life like you should. So I think that's the main thing that we help people with.
And Doug, by the way, Share Healthcare is not getting any benefit from this, so we don't have to do this FCC. By the way, we were sponsored by it, and it is. And we're just talking to some folks here that have some interesting products. And Carson, if we're here and people could just pick your stuff up, but if folks down in Tallahassee wanted to at least look at Redmond or order something, what would they do?
Just go to redmond.life and you can find all our information there. You can read our blogs, and you can see all our variety of products. Like you said, table salt, electrolytes, toothpaste. There's a lot of different things we can help you with.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Carson.
You're welcome.
So we're here at Homesteaders, and like Carson and I with Redmond were chatting, there's so many different vendors here, and there's one vendor here that has creams and products from all the Appalachian, those are our mountains here, all the Appalachian mountains. And Greg, when I was chatting with you earlier, you were mentioning you used to be a medical professional. Is that right?
I was a level 1 critical care nurse for 20 years.
All right.
About 3 years ago, I walked away from nursing and have been doing this ever since.
And what is this you've been doing?
Well, we're hemp farmers by trade. Our products are THC-free. And we wouldn't even call it hemp cream if the state of Kentucky didn't make us. Because we could treat it just like we do our other plants, where there's ginger, turmeric, wormwood, burdock root. We use absolutely nothing but plants. And when you combine them with the hemp, it's just truly something amazing.
So what does it do?
Decreases inflammation. National Institute of Health said 100% of pain in the human body is a result of inflammation or the inflammatory response system. So logically, if you can get rid of the inflammation, it's going to resolve a whole lot of other issues. And we process our hemp different than anybody in the nation that we're aware of. Kentucky Hemp Farmers Association said they're not aware of anybody that makes it the way we do. We don't extract oils from our hemp for CBD oil or CBG oil. We actually take the budding flower of the plant, grind it into a spice, the same way we do the wormwood, the ginger, the turmeric, the cayenne, treat it just like any other plant. And when we put it all together, it is truly something amazing. It decreases swelling faster than an ice pack will. It's non-toxic. You can't overdose on it. It's not going to hurt your liver. It's not going to hurt your kidneys. And it actually works. We make skin, a couple of them for skin, for like acne issues, wrinkles, under eye bags, eyelid hooding. And then we make our 3 different pain creams. And technically, we can't say they're pain creams. They're anti-inflammation creams. But they work in about 3 or 4 minutes.
So, Greg, what is the name of your company? What's the name of that product?
We are Bose Tractor Works is the name of our company. And our
No, wait, hang on now. You're talking about people's bodies, and it's Bose Tractor Works. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. My partner always had a side hustle, bush hogging and doing tractor work for folks. And somebody at church came up to him in 2017, wanted to know if he'd put out some hemp for him. Well, he didn't know anything about it, but he decided to help him put it in the ground, and they ended up losing their butt on it. They lost multiple thousands of dollars on this endeavor. They had nothing to do with their hemp after they got it. So he saw what they did with it, so he got a permit, did a half acre of his, and just started making creams for the family and friends, and it just caught on. It worked great, and people were starting to buy it, so he just threw this underneath his LLC that he'd already had with Bose Tractor Works.
And so the company name is Bose Tractor Works, but what is the product name?
We have Appalachia Hills 11, the Appalachia Forest, Appalachia Plains, and we have one Appalachia Animal that's for pets and livestock. Then we have 2 skin creams, the Appalachia Silk and the Appalachia AW.
So with Share Healthcare, our chief administrative officer has met you before, and he was mentioning to me that his father-in-law, who's elderly and has had problems, had very much swollen, inflamed legs, and they weren't able to do anything with it. And he mentioned that he began using one of your products with his father-in-law, and it shrank it almost immediately. Do you know what product that was that Gil used?
That would be the Appalachia Hills 11 in conjunction with the Appalachia Forest. They kind of complement each other, but they will decrease swelling faster than an ice pack will. It's truly amazing what our Creator gave us right out of the earth under our feet if we'll get back to picking it up and using it.
Yeah, and Gil mentioned, too, that y'all are a strong faith-based company. Is that right?
Absolutely. We are not that smart to put this together. We feel that God picked us to put this together. We give him the credit for it. And between him and his son, there's nothing that can be, that's not doable. I mean.
So it's Bo and God's Tractor Works and pain relief.
Yeah, absolutely. We pray over every batch we make. We give credit to him. It's our Creator that did all this. He gave us these magnificent machines that we walk around in, and he did not leave us to our own devices to keep them up. He gave us everything we need for our bodies right out of the earth. If we'll get back to doing that, not just what we eat, not just our medicines, it's everything. Our bodies are not created to process synthetic garbage, and sadly, that's what a lot of stuff we're using today is. It's just lab-grown, petroleum-based junk for your body. Our bodies are not designed to run that way. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. All our cream does is get rid of the inflammation so it can function the way it should, the way God intended.
And so it's Bose Tractor Works, but if somebody wanted to look you up online, let's say they're down in Tallahassee or they hear one of our podcasts around the nation, where would they look?
BoseTractorWorks.com.
All right, that's pretty simple. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All righty. What's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria. All right. And Victoria, Doug, we're speaking with Victoria of Earthly Wellness. And here we are at Homesteaders of America, and there's just all sorts of vendors. And so, Victoria, what is Earthly Wellness?
Yeah, Earthly Wellness is an all-natural health and wellness company. We put a huge focus on medical freedom and education. We have a dedicated writing team who does a lot of research on health topics, and they compile these health guides that we have on our website with all the research in the end so people can check our sources and everything. And we also make herbal remedies, salves for tons of different ailments.
And I noticed, too, that you also do homeschool units. What are those about?
Yeah, so the owners, they have 6 children, and they homeschool all of their children. And they really wanted to integrate that with Earthly. A lot of our customers also homeschool, so it was a really great addition to add. So we could kind of be like a quick little one-stop shop for some of our customers.
So what are some of your products?
We have our top sellers, which is Feel Better Fast. So that's really great for supporting the immune system when you start to feel ill. Teeth Tamer. It is fantastic for our customers who have babies who are teething. I've also used it when I had my wisdom tooth coming in. Our magnesium lotion, we actually have samples here right now. It is our number 1 top seller. Your body uses magnesium for 300 enzymatic processes in the body. And
300 what processes?
Enzymatic processes. Your body eats up magnesium really fast. And unfortunately, our soils are depleted of magnesium. So you have to supplement somehow because our food doesn't have it anymore.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you and order something and they're not here in Front Royal, Virginia, how would they do that?
Yes, so go to www.earthly.com. That's Earth with LEY.com.
All right, and where are y'all from?
Columbus, Ohio.
So how do you like it here in Front Royal, Virginia, in the mountains of Virginia?
I am absolutely loving it. Every time we come to Homesteaders of America, I want to move here. It's gorgeous.
Well, as you noticed, if you've been looking around, there aren't a whole lot of properties for sale around here. It doesn't seem like nobody wants to move away.
Right? Yeah, I'm jealous.
All right. Well, thank you, Victoria. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Laura with the Chicken Fountain, not just any old chicken fountain, not a chicken fountain, not some chicken fountains, but the Chicken Fountain. So, Laura, here we are at Homesteaders of America in beautiful Front Royal, Virginia, and what is the Chicken Fountain?
The Chicken Fountain is an automatic water for backyard chickens. So it autofills, refills. It's a contained system, so it stays clean, and it's a dripper system, easy for any bird of any size to use.
So, Laura, you and I were chatting a little bit earlier about the ministry that I'm with, Share Healthcare. Mm-hmm. And we have our 3 foundations of medical freedom, financial freedom, religious freedom. So with that theme of freedom, how does the Chicken Fountain tie into a family's freedom or an individual's? How does that tie into that?
I'd say time mainly. It gives you the freedom to be away from your flock for an extended period of time and not have to worry about the water. So because it's autofilling, it gives you the freedom to travel if you need to, long days at the office if you have those. We used to travel with kids' sports. There were teams all over everywhere, and we could leave and we would know that our birds were safe because their water was clean and available.
So who's your customer base? Obviously not the main cage farmers of, have a couple of thousand or 20 or 30,000 chickens in one building. What's your customer base?
We focus mainly on the backyard flock owner. So I would say from 4 to 30, and then smaller farms that use birds and meat tractors or other tractors if they're layers, that upwards of I'd say 200 or 300, but because it's designed for smaller flocks, that's the bulk of our audience. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and just in our chatting earlier, I know that you and your family are Christian. How does that tie into your business as the ethic, let's say?
Well, the first thing that pops to mind is customer service. We are focused on treating people well and with respect, and we take care to really include just any and all of our customers in any of just our operations, the way that we design things, the way that we market things, the way that we serve them after they have purchased. We kind of keep them in the front of our mind with all of that. So I think just our care and just commitment to treating them well and with respect.
How do folks get a hold of you?
Okay. Yeah, we are online at thechickenfountain.com, or they can reach out to us at info@thechickenfountain.com. Also, obviously, on Instagram, Facebook, the same thing, The Chicken Fountain.
And if you happen to be in Front Royal, Virginia this weekend or each year when Homesteaders is here, come on by. So we're here at Homesteaders of America with Tina Freitas, who's been a candidate for office here in Virginia. And her husband's been a delegate and he still is a delegate, stepping down after January 1st. But Tina, I'm here with Share Healthcare, medical freedom, financial freedom, religious freedom. So you and your husband are heavily invested in the whole concept of freedom. So what brings you out to Homesteaders for America?
Oh, my gosh. Well, we're here. Well, Nick usually comes to talk about legislative, from the legislative perspective with the homesteading situation and all of the little legal situations that you have to deal with, But we also we're part of a podcast called Making the Argument, and so we bring all of our...
What's your podcast name again?
It's called Making the Argument, and it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, and everywhere else that you would find a podcast. And so we have our merch out here, and Nick's over here, visiting with all of the folks.
Nick Freitas has a permanent line whenever he's at Homesteaders of America, probably the other place, because y'all travel really around the world now speaking, right?
I don't, but Nick does. Well, I'm speaking now at homeschool conventions around the country with Nick. And so we do, homeschooling is really important to us. And, of course, the homesteading community is very close in with the homeschooling community. And so there's a whole lot of overlap there. And so he'll come, he talks about some of the things that are relevant here. We talk about faith and family and just reconnecting to what actually matters in life, and that's really important in this environment that we find ourselves in now.
And you both are really consciously, intentionally living life from a biblical worldview, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that a lot of us have recognized that we've got to live out our worldview throughout all of our lives, whether it's just out into the world, in politics, in what we do with our livelihoods, and then in every other aspect. And so we're not tucking it away. It's forefront because we view everything through that, so it's necessary to everything we do.
Yeah. And what I had understood is that when Nick first was looking to run for office, people viewed you as the better speaker of the two, and yet now Nick is viewed as the new Patrick Henry.
Oh, I don't think so. I think,
I've heard you speak, Tina.
Well, sometimes I do okay, but Nick is the better speaker, hands down. He always has been. He was in the House of Delegates. When I ran for office, I ran a little after Nick had already been pretty well established as being a pretty amazing speaker. So I had to learn as I went, and he gave me some pointers, and so he taught me.
So, and as I understand it, too, one of the reasons that Nick is stepping away from the House of Delegates and y'all are going into the influencing full time is really that was a large encouragement from President Trump of wanting to be able to have you all out there as a voice and also be able to have you there on the ground being able to tell them, well, what are the voices of today saying? What are the youth of today thinking?
Yes, absolutely. We have a situation now where all of the old media sources are sort of becoming obsolete, and we've got all of this new technology.
No offense to you there, Doug.
No offense. But we are getting to the point where if you're not keeping up with like podcasts and things like that, a lot of people find their news through different sources now, which has kind of taken away all the gatekeepers, and now everyone's able to get their voice out there. And when people have a choice, they typically choose to be a little more conservative, which is pretty fantastic. So we're taking advantage of that everywhere we can.
Well, I know the folks that we know, whatever part of the country they are, they have heard of Nick or listened to him. So where can people find out y'all, the products you have, the podcasts you have? Where might they go?
Okay, well, we have... Making the Argument is on YouTube. It's just, if you type in Nick Freitas, you'll find pretty much everything. We're on...
Go ahead and spell that for the folks that aren't in Virginia.
Okay, it's Nick, N-I-C-K, and then it's Freitas, F-R-E-I-T-A-S. And he's on Instagram, he's on YouTube, Facebook, and across all platforms, we have about 5 million followers. And so... we're just trying our best to get the messages out as well as we can through the resources we've been able to acquire. So.
And Tina, aren't you also doing something and doing some maybe teaching or helping folks understand some more of the patriotic base, or just how can a person live in today's society? Aren't you helping out?
Absolutely. I'm a co-host with Nick on the podcast, and then I'm also speaking with him at homeschool conventions across the great homeschool conventions that are happening across the U.S. This coming year. And we're also very heavily involved in visiting the college campuses and things like that. And I try to go whenever possible. But Nick is actually the main person. I tend to fill a more supportive role because somebody's got to hold down the home front. But I do go with him and participate as needed and as requested.
And everybody's been hearing about Turning Point and Charlie Kirk's passing, and Nick and yourself have been involved in that and assisting both before and after, right?
Absolutely. We've been trying to be as available as possible to fill in the gap because they're still continuing on their college tours. Nick just got back from University of Alabama. He's getting ready to go out to UC Berkeley, and we have a few others in the works as well. I can't grab them right now.
Right. A lot. So will Nick be doing the same table debates, let's say? Or I know here in Virginia he's speaking at the events where Charlie would have been.
Yeah, he's been doing that. A lot of them are moving things indoors, and but the turnout's been incredible. I mean, we had a few thousand down in Alabama, and it's interesting because the questions are a little different now. In light of what happened with Charlie, now it used to be people wanted to ask questions and talk about things sort of in a hostile way. And sort of, that's sort of what he was about. He was letting the opposition come up and ask questions. But now what we're really finding is people are looking for direction, and they're saying, hey, look, I do have a Christian worldview, and I want to know, how am I supposed to live as a man, or how am I supposed to live as a woman, and what's my role, and what should be important to me, and how do I put these things out there, and how do I live it out? And what we're finding is, like, when he came back from University of Alabama, most of the questions were not hostile. They were hungry to know, like, what's next? How do I live this out? How do I make an impact? And so we're sort of, I feel like, seeing a revival in this area, and I'm really excited about it.
So, Doug, you're right there at FSU, so hopefully you'll be able to see Tina and Nick treat us down there sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, Tina.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So here we are, Homesteaders of America. It's a bright, sunny day. The chill that we had earlier is burned off, which is wonderful. We're still wearing a little bit of, jackets or vests. But I'm here with Karen Hamilton, and Karen, you're a candidate for office here in Virginia, right?
That's right. I'm running for the 62nd District, the House of Delegates here in Virginia, which is basically the representative house for the state. So I'm looking forward to serving, and I just got done listening to Joe Salatin, and he was talking all about disentangling from the systems and how we can get our food disentangled from government intervention.
Right. And you homeschool, and you have a home business also, and your husband's in disaster relief, and then you were military and missionary family at the beginning, and that adds up to being a candidate for the House of Delegates?
That's right. My husband served as a Navy SEAL for 10 years, and now he's working in disaster relief, and I was formerly an engineer, and now I'm homeschooling our 3 kids, and so we've dabbled in a lot of different things, but, God has led us into the political realm, and we love our country, we love Virginia, and so we just want to do our part to preserve liberty and hope to restore justice and righteousness in government.
So would you consider yourself a homesteader and your family as homesteaders?
I wouldn't, honestly. I mean, we would like to be homesteaders. We've had a garden. We've had, we have animals, but we're not, I wouldn't say to the point of homesteading, because we're still very much reliant on many of the systems that we'd like to disentangle from. But, we're aspiring homesteaders, I'll say that.
Well, and that's pretty much, there's 5,000 people here. And out of that, there might be 500 who are homesteading now. Everybody else seems to be learning aspects of it and thinking about it. But one thing that tends to be a constant theme is everybody is looking for freedom in one way or another. And Karen, you're friends with my wife, and we're friends, and I've heard you speak a number of times, and freedom is one of your major reasons, if not the major reason why you're running. And how would you articulate what do you see, and what would you like to be seen as momentum in our country?
Right. I would like to see the government get out of many of the relationships that we have, whether it be parent and child or church and community, whether it be food and, consumer. I would like to see the government remove itself from some of those relationships because we frankly don't need it, and they take advantage of us and control us in many ways. So.
And your district, the 62nd District of Virginia, is the most beautiful district in Virginia, right?
Well, I'm partial, but I certainly think so. It's a beautiful area and the envy of the rest of the Commonwealth, in my opinion.
And it's home to James Madison's home, Montpelier, and just so much of the history is here. I mean, Constitution Highway passes through your area, just so much. If you're going to George Mason's house or George Washington's, you go through your area. If you go to Thomas Jefferson's, you'll go through your area.
That's right. Yep, we've got so much heritage right in the district. And, I mean, James Madison's estate is less than 5 miles away from where I live. And so, we just walk amazing grounds every single day, and we need to preserve that history and certainly the natural beauty.
And there'll be a historic marker here in 10 or 15 years. This is the home of Karen Hamilton.
Let's see how much trouble I can cause, and we'll see if they give me a marker.
All right. Well, thank you, Karen. Appreciate that.
Yeah, good.
And if somebody wants to see some of your views or your where they can learn about your race and what you're putting out, how would they get in contact with you?
Sure. Well, my website is hamiltonforvirginia.com, and I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, Not Cameron Hamilton. It's Karen Hamilton. That's my husband.
Yeah, she was saying Cameron because that's her husband, and that's who she calls out to all the time, right?
That's right. So it's Karen Hamilton on Facebook and Twitter. You can find me there.
All right. Thank you again, Karen.
Yeah, thanks. Nice talking to you.
Well, we're with Mike Sharman. And Mike, as we wrap up our time together, you're out there at the 2025 Homesteaders of America Conference. Yeah. Homesteadersofamerica.com is where people can go and find out more information. But you're also there representing Share Healthcare. So how does Share Healthcare fit into all this?
Well, as we mentioned a number of times, Doug, Share Healthcare is based on freedom. Its whole premise is freedom. Medical freedom, financial freedom, and religious freedom. We have that medical freedom, and that is that you get to go to whatever doctor or even licensed medical professional that you think is appropriate for you anywhere in the world. That's your new network. Anywhere in the world, any licensed medical professional. And that medical professional can give you the care that he thinks is appropriate, not what's dictated by an insurance entity or what medical care might be dictated to by different government entities. We have no government involved with Share Healthcare. We're not dictated to by the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare. We're not dictated to by state insurance companies. So we don't have to share in abortifacients. We don't have to share in abortions. We don't have to share the transgender or destruction or anything of that nature. And then financial freedom. We're $149 per month for a single, $249 for a couple, $349 for a family of four. So that obviously frees up a whole lot of money. And I've been talking to a lot of people here today that even if they have their employer-provided health insurance, some of them are paying up to $1,700 a month when they're on an employer-provided, where the employer is still paying a part of it. Because what we know is that the average across the nation for employer-provided health care for a family of four is $2,600. So a lot of these folks are paying $900, $1,700 dollars per month as their portion of that. So when they hear $349 for a family of four, they see there's a lot of financial freedom there for them. And then religious freedom. You're getting to be, as a Christian, you're going to be a part of an organization with other Christians whose pretty narrow focus ministry is sharing the medically necessary medical expenses for our members. And you're helping them at a difficult time. And just by your virtue of being a member, you're helping all of them because that keeps the cost down low for everybody. So that's why we're here. As we've chatted with all these different folks at different aspects of the homesteaders, we heard each of them, in one way or another, are trying to promote freedom So it's a joy just being here in the midst of all these freedom-loving folks.
Well, I like what Daniel said, the idea of being more self-reliant rather than relying on giant entities like governments and corporations. And that's Share Healthcare definitely fits in with that. People can find out more by calling 1-844-SHARE-HC or online at sharehealthcare.com. Mike Sharman's out at the 2025 Homesteaders of America Conference. If you'd like to find out more information about that conference and a lot of people involved who are leaders in that movement, you can go to homesteadersofamerica.com. And for Wave 94, I'm Doug Apple.